Okay, so let's talk about one other big thing. It's just basic hygiene. Make sure that after you get done training that you go and shower as soon as possible. If they have a shower at the gym, probably I would suggest utilizing it. Make sure that you don't use the antibacterial soap that you'll see at a lot of stores, just because that a lot of times will nuke both the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So look for stuff like Defense soap, or trying to think of some of the other ones out there. There's a lot of good soaps out there that are designed for combat sports and grappling and wrestling and stuff like that. Just so it essentially kills the good bacteria but keeps the kills the bad bacteria but keeps the good bacteria. With that being said, also try to remain as clean as possible for training sessions. The one big thing that'll hamper a lot of good training sessions is if you absolutely stink. And maybe you don't notice it, whatever, but other people might. So try to keep your nails clean. Try to keep everything somewhat clean for the most part. One, so you don't worry about it, and so it's not on the back of your mind when you're training, and you can concentrate heavily on the actual class rather than, oh man, I stink. And two, so you keep training partners coming, because let me tell you, one of the biggest things, and it's kind of an unspoken deal, is like if that person stinks, I don't want to roll with that person, and it takes one more person out of the rotation for you to drill with, and out of the rotation for you to grapple with. And so if you're at a big gym, maybe that doesn't matter so much, but if you're at a smaller gym, then that really limits the number of people that you're going to have. So really try to, like I said, it's pretty basic, but I want to put it out there, because there's a lot of skin diseases that you can look at and that you can get from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and things like that. I shouldn't say a lot. It's as long as you're keeping yourself fairly clean, it's pretty uncommon for it to happen. If you do it for 10, 15 years, it's going to happen. But like I said, it's something that's very preventable. So pretty much the only times that I've ever gotten skin diseases are from when I go to a grappling tournament and I don't have time to shower afterwards. Maybe I've rented a hotel for the night before, but not the day of. So, and then they had no facilities to shower there. And so I've had to drive home, 5 or 6 hours after grappling 6 or 7 times on mats that have had hundreds of people on them. I ended up getting ringworm or whatever, which, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, isn't anything terrible, but it's just kind of more of an annoyance, and it's going to slow down your learning process. So that being said as well, if you notice anything on your skin, please talk to your coach about it. Don't be weirded out about it. Don't hide it. Me being a coach as well, I would much rather have somebody point out something to me and say, hey, is this staph, or is this ringworm, is this whatever? And for me as a coach to say, I think it is, or I don't think it is. But I'm almost always going to have you suggest going to a doctor just to double check, because I don't want to say, oh, no, because I'm not a medical professional. But I have seen a lot of it. I've got a pretty good eye for what staph is and what ringworm is. For the most part, a couple telltale signs is if you have something that looks like a zit, but it itches like hell, don't pop it. And like I said, I would go to a doctor. They're probably going to prescribe you Lamisil or some antibiotics, things like that, if it ends up being staph. But Lamisil you can just get from any drugstore. It's going to cost you about $10 and it'll last you forever. So, but like I said, the two main telltale signs for me are always, if it's if that area is like super hot, then it's probably staph. If that area, and like if it's staph, go right away. Go like right away to the hospital. And if they tell you that it's not staph, and then it's probably something. If they don't give you an answer at the doctor, I would go see a second doctor. One thing that amazes me is the level of doctors that kind of overlook skin infections. I've had a number of cases where people actually had staph. They went into the doctors, and the doctors are like, nope, it looks fine, and then it ended up being staph. So, and then on the ringworm side of things, if it looks like a pimple and then it absolutely itches like hell, it's probably going to be ringworm. And like I said, I would go to the doc the first time that you do that. but for the most part, it should be pretty curable with a couple doses of Lamisil, and you'd be fine.